All right, so today is March 25th. This has been a very, very weird month for me, trading wise. Not been my best month, and it's nothing to do with trading or price action, it's to do with my state of mind. Anyway, so um, let's recap some of the trades we took over this day and this day. In fact, I did not trade this session. I traded here, took a dumb trade, dumb, really dumb. Um, and then because I was out for the day, I couldn't trade it, but I was watching the entire market the whole entire day, and I saw some really good things. Actually, um, was in my Discord, or rather, it's not my Discord, but my friend's Discord. But I I seem to do most of the talking. We were trying to figure out the market here, but let's talk about what's been happening. So the way I like to um, I think I can take this out. I don't think we're going to hit this target. Anyway, the way I like to trade, as you all know, I'm a price action trader. And what does that mean? It means that I use the price movements to try to get an idea of what the market is doing. I don't use things like volume. The only indicator I use is the moving average. And I only use it just to get an idea of what the price is. It's basically smoothing out the price for me. So the price is hovering around it, and the value is determined or the value to the participants is determined by the moving average. So if the price is below the moving average, it is deemed as cheap, and therefore bulls would love that. When it's above the moving average, it is deemed as expensive. So when you have a situation, this is a 1 hour chart, and you have a situation like this, and you notice that price is bouncing off the moving average, essentially what's happening is whoever is buying here is buying because he believes this price is a cheap price. And usually whenever that happens, we have a trend. Normally we have price bouncing off moving averages, it leads to a bull trend. All right, so anyway, another thing I do is this thing called the market cycle. So I must type the market cycle, explain everything. So I believe, or I know, that price moves in an endless cycle, repeating cycle. So essentially, I think I've explained this so many times, but I'll just do it anyway one more time. Price always starts moving with a from a breakout, and then it loses momentum, and you start to get pullbacks. And these pullbacks form what we call a channel. So essentially, in a breakout, you don't have pullbacks. And in a channel, that's when you're now having pullbacks. And then eventually, the price starts to slow down, and it goes sideways into what we call a trading range. And at some point, the trading range evolves into a breakout in one of the other directions, like that. And this is essentially what happens. So it's like this: you have a breakout, a pullback, and then a trading range. A pullback, and then it evolves into a trading range. It does that on all time frames. You have a spike, pullback, and then a channel, and then it becomes a trading range. What it is, this is the trading range right now. So when I'm knowing that, I'm able to uh, get a sense of what the market is doing. So as this happens on all time frames, I then now draw lines on the top of the channels or the bottom of the channel. On the bear channel, I draw the line at the bottom, or I draw the line at the top, not because I'm looking for a breakout, but actually just so I know where the channel is. I mean, I can draw two, one at the bottom, one at the top if I want, but I don't need the one at the bottom. I don't trade breakouts the way most people trade them, where they trade a breakout through a line. I'm more interested in a response based on how bars are printed. All right, so that's how I trade. Now, how does that relate to what we're doing? So, if we look at what the market has been doing, we've been in a very strong bull trend. Um, we had a first pullback over here, which what I thought was a final flag, but I actually realized it's not. Well, it must have been a final flag because we're beginning to slow down. But it was actually a pullback day. And then we now had another bull spike, and then another pullback day, and then a final spike up, and then it's now kind of gone into a trading range. So if we look at, let's look at the 15-minute chart, because I like the 15-minute chart. The 1 hour I also use, but I like the 15-minute. So this was a pullback, and then another spike, and a pullback with 3 pushes, breakout, pullback, 1, 2, 3. So this was the spike, pullback channel. If we look at the electronic trading hours, we're able to see the what am I trying? Here we go. That was the breakout, the pullback, and then the 3 pushes. The trading range is this, and we had a breakout this way, and then now we have a channel, went into a trading range, then came back out, broke out, and then it's kind of this confusing trading range. Trading ranges are supposed to be confusing. All right, so anyway, so we know that's what the market is doing. We know we have kind of a high over here, and from here it goes into the trading range. We may even get a massive sell-off on Monday. Let's just see what happens, because we have a setup for that. But sometimes these channels fail, or not fail, but the trading range now, the breakout happens in the upward direction, and usually what happens, we go for a measured move of the size of the channel. All right, so how does that now relate to how I traded the last couple of days? So remember, we talked about this day in my previous recap. So let's go back to the 5-minute chart. We had a nice wedge bottom, and based on that wedge bottom, we should have had a reversal here. This day opened, and it was a bit tricky to figure it out, but after a while we did, and I just did not even consider the fact that, hey, we have a wedge bottom, so we should be going up. A wedge bottom essentially is like this. It's a wedge like that, right? So we had a wedge bottom, we had a gap up, you can call this a big massive bar, a pullback, and then we started to have a lot of sideways trading range type price action, prices sort of staying around this area. And remember what I said about the moving average. When price tends to stay above it, we tend to trend. So that's exactly what happened. We opened up above it, we were trending. We tested it here, we had a double bottom here, we even had a wedge top, and it just kind of went up. And then what we had was another channel, a pullback, and a nice trading range here, but even a lower high, a higher low, major trend reversal. This caused a big massive breakout, and then you had a breakout, pullback, 1, maybe this is 1, 2, 3, or whatever it is. And then today it just sort of carried on, this channel carried on, and then in fact I should have noticed this looks like exhaustion, and then a nice sell-off. All right, so while that is happening, let's talk about the trade that I took, which is so stupid, so damn stupid. Oh my god, it really wrecked my day yesterday, because it was such a stupid trade. And it wasn't that it was the trade that was bad. I mean, there's, you can always take a bad trade. There's no such, there's no such thing as a perfect trade, but it's when you don't manage the trade well. So I saw this as a breakout. I thought, okay, fine, we're coming up, maybe we have a wedge here, and maybe we're coming down, even though it didn't really make sense. But I thought maybe this was, us coming down. I thought, I don't know, we're coming down. I saw this breakout, but the thing about this breakout is it never really broke this level. Anyway, it pulled back, so I thought, okay, maybe this will catch the second leg. Maybe it will be a weak breakout, because this is a I didn't even think about this, because I thought maybe this was gonna fail, but obviously didn't. So anyway, this broke out here, went sideways. I thought we were gonna form a 2-legged pullback. Kind of had a bit of indecision over here, where you go 1 pullback, 2, and they went like this, and I thought, okay, great, we're testing moving average, and then I sold a very large position. And what I mean by that is, whenever a trader says I sold a large position, they're saying that they sold without a stop loss, and that's what I did. And look at what happened. This candle wicked up instantly, and I just had an arbitrary stop up here, but it wasn't a stop I was planning on using, if that makes sense. I was going to move then, and I didn't expect, that the price would move all the way up here. I was doing the stupid trader amateur trader thing of, I expected the price to give me a second leg. It never came. And of course I got stopped out and took a huge loss, and that really messed up my trading for the day. Did not trade for the rest of the day. And of course we have a wedge bottom here, 1, 2, 3 possibly, even though this is kind of broken that high, so I won't even use that. So maybe this is your wedge bottom, 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't really matter. The point is, We had this gap up, or this rally up, went sideways for a bit on this moving average if you're using this chart, and you had a nice breakout, pull back, nice wedge bottom here. This would have been a really good buy. And what was really interesting for this was I saw this and I thought, oh boy, it didn't actually go to 1-to-1. This is probably not going to go. But then the bulls held it up, and this is why you have to stick to your plan regardless, even if you get stopped out. It actually got beyond 1-to-1. I think it got to 1-to-3 or even 1-to-4. But the point is, had I taken this long, I would have had to just turn this off, go to Walmart or something, and come back and seen that I would have gotten my position, even though this is where I would have wanted to get out. All right, so yeah, so that was that day. Now today, what was happening? So we had this. I was watching the market overnight. Woke up really late, like 3 in the morning. So we had a wedge top here. Actually, it was about here. I saw that, and then we had a sell off here, which was the wedge worked. But it did not start a trend in this direction. If anything, it reversed and meant that we were either going up or we are going sideways. So this was the low anyway at this point. We went up, pulled back, and then we opened. Yeah, we opened here, and I did stupid things. Had a bit of FOMO, and I think this is the point I'm trying to make about my trading this year, because this month just not been doing things right. We're above the moving average. We've trended up this way. This is probably a final flag. Did not even think about that. Now I look at it now. It was a final flag. Essentially a consolidation just in the middle of a trend, and then you carry on, and this reversal is what you expect. Anyway, so we had 2 legs down, 2 was a moving average, bounced up, and then we carried on with a bull trend. But what was interesting was this actually became a wedge as well. So this was something I shorted. At this point, I was not very happy today. Anyway, I took this short, got out around the moving average, and then shorted a bit more because I was trading a 1-minute chart. And on the 1-minute chart, we have a lot of pullbacks, and I was trying to get in on each pullback. Now, I didn't want to get in on this because I don't trust L1s. This is an L1 signal bar. I don't trust this bar. I prefer the second one. And as you can see, we had a 2-legged pullback over here. Oh, actually 3 legs. No, 2. Well, maybe this is 1. But we have 2 legs in terms of pullbacks. This was a good short below here. So I took this short sort of around here, and I targeted this low and got out there, and then stopped for a bit, and then this just kept on going down. And now this is where I get a bit iffy, because again, it's a 1-minute chart, so things are a bit different. But because now this is a spike pullback in channel, I'm assuming we're going to get a third low, so I did not want to hold past this level in case this low might just be here, and then we just kind of go sideways or go up. Eventually we ended up coming down all this way, which was actually pretty dope actually when you think about it. This first, second, and third, or maybe this is a spike pullback, 1, 2, and 3. So you have a nice wedge bottom over here, and this was a credible long entry. I did not take it because at this point I think I was now looking at the 5-minute chart. I wasn't looking to go in long here, although this is a great place to go long because it tests this triangle over here, and it's also testing the Globex low. If we put up the Globex chart, it was a good test of the Globex low. Where is it? Oh, this is the Globex low. Yeah, it was a good test of that, and you almost have an expanding triangle as well. Anyway, so yeah, well, so what then now happened is I was not thinking of taking this long. I just wanted this to play out. I should have just jumped in long, scalped it a bit, because what actually happened was actually very frustrating. So we had 1 leg up, 2nd leg up, and this was the 3rd leg up, right? So I planned to short here, and I took it short, and this wicked back up, and I thought this is looking very unusual. We shouldn't be wicking up. I wish this closed on its low, but it didn't. This broke its low, but it trapped the shorts, went sideways, and I got out, I think, for break even, if I can remember correctly. And then what happened was we now had a high 4. I tried it. I think I wanted to short this, but risk too high, and then we had this breakout. This already tells you that whatever you're trying to do is probably not going to work. The fact that this is probably trying to do this, right? This is the second measured move target, and as you can see, it stopped there, but it was trying to go a bit higher, and this just kept going up. I didn't want to, I probably would have preferred to buy above this bar, stop down here, but it's just the risk was just too high. Wasn't really confident. I thought, what if we're just in a small channel that's just going up? I would have to buy on the moving average if anything, but as you can see, we're finding support on the moving average, and we went even higher. So I thought, okay, fine, no worries. We have so much selling over here. This is a trading range, right? Big up, big down, causes big confusion. So chances are we're probably coming back down, maybe testing this low. And I was like, if we are going down, I was debating, should I just buy because this is a breakout, buy for whatever reason. If anything, we're going to get a second leg, or this is a second leg. And what I actually did was, I thought, okay, I'll wait. I bought a few times and I stopped. So I said, let's just wait. I saw this wedge, 1, 2, and 3. Took it short below this. It was being stubborn at first. You know, just kind of staying there for a bit, and then it just ripped down. Got out just below the moving average. This kind of did this. I then now shorted again. Took it down to the base here. I got out there. And then this just started doing this. I think I took a few more scalps. And then so we had a micro wedge down here. At this point I got out. I should have taken it long, but you see the way I saw this was we had 1 pullback, 2 pullback. I was expecting a third, but there was no third leg. This just went up, and it went up so strongly. I think I learned something here. If you don't get this third leg and you now start going up, you're probably going up really strongly. And maybe this was the third high. So here we have one high, at least on the 15-minute chart. We have one pullback here. This is the second pullback, and maybe we're getting to the third, which will now mean this is a signal bar to go short. So maybe on Monday or Sunday or whatever, the market may come down, or maybe on Monday we may open around here and we could go down because we've achieved that target of 3 highs, the wedge top, and now we have a signal level to go short here. So price coming down here will be a really good short, and possibly just like we did on the day here. This is the exact same pattern as what we have over here. So maybe we'll get a nice sell-off from there. All right, so that's my recap for this for today and yesterday. I'm hoping next week will be a much better day. If you're interested, I have on my Instagram all my charts for at least for this entire month, where I've scribbled everything to do with the different entries, how I analyzed it, and or whatnot. I don't put the higher time frames. I don't think they're useful, at least not for Instagram. But you can have a look. All right.